Hey guys, welcome to the Slice of Sabre podcast. Now, Aron Szilagyi is a name that everyone should know pretty well. He won the Olympic title three times in a row in 2012, 2016, and again in 2021. He went into his fifth Olympic Games once again as a favourite, only to be knocked out in the first round in Paris. It was one of the biggest upsets of the tournament, and today I am glad to be joined by the giant killer himself, Fares Arfa of Canada.
Hey, what's up?
Fares, nice to see you. So we're going to take it back to begin with. We're going to take it back to the last cycle as a whole. It was a three-year Olympic cycle from Tokyo to Paris. So I'd like to ask you how that qualification cycle went for you.
It started off all right. So after every Olympics, there's always a little down period,
Hmm.
but it didn't last too long, and quickly I got motivated again. I was ready to go. At the beginning, the results were not exactly where I wanted them to be, but I could see the progression, especially since the Tokyo, and I started working with the sports psychologist a little more seriously, and I think that helped put me in a good position.
So the qualification for the Olympics for Canada is quite particular, right? Because you're in the Pan American zone, which you unfortunately have to share with the USA.
All right, so it's both. We have a love-hate relationship with the US. We always want to beat them, which we do sometimes, but most of the time we want them to win
Hmm.
because the better they do, the more chances we have to qualify.
Exactly, because you didn't qualify for the last couple of Olympics. Canada haven't qualified a team in men's saber, and this is largely.
Only individuals, yeah, only
Mhm.
individuals.
Was it when was the
And
last time there was a team?
so we got to go back to the 80s, I think. It was
2000.
1986.
Oh, really?
That was a
Wow.
team
Okay.
for men's saber. For men's saber,
Really?
it went back a long time. We're the first team in a while.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, the USA have had to climb back into the top four again, and that opens up the Pan American spot for you guys.
Exactly, and we have a pretty sizable lead on the rest of the zone as well.
Hmm.
So if the US in top four, it's guarantee us. We just have to stay top 16, which we did more than plenty to do.
Hmm. And So the cycle you had quite a few. I look at your results and it's often quite inconsistent. There was often 64, 32, and then out in a pool, which is fairly normal because um it's hard. Fencing is so hard, right?
But,
But
getting out the pools is, getting out the pools is not hard, but making it to the second day is always now even more than before. It's a challenge since
mhm.
there's always someone in your path, and you're like, well, what are you doing there? But
So what was it that motivated you to keep pushing through?
I because I went to Tokyo with my teammate Shoal Gordon as a training partner,
Okay.
and I was quite annoyed when we got to the Olympic Village after the training camp we had in Japan, and they drop off the athletes and us, the bus, just carry on to the airport.
Hmm.
I kind of, I just didn't want to feel that way again, and so I put myself to in a position not to feel like that again.
So you were just in touching distance of the Olympic experience, and then you couldn't quite
Yeah,
get
and
there.
then
And yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet feeling, but I was very annoyed.
So then we flash forward to 2022 of World Championships in Cairo, and
Yeah,
this was quite a big result for you, right?
right. It was top 16.
Mhm.
Could have, would have done more, but top 16 is where I stopped. I think to me that was kind of a breakthrough in the sense where I got a boost of confidence, knowing that I can achieve these results as well. It's not limited to Europeans or the US or the occasional show golden result, but it's it was a boost and felt good. Even in the team event, we did pretty good, and yeah, it was a big help, and it showed. I think what it showed is really the preparation. and the importance of it because we it was the first time really completely turned off everything but fencing for a while. So we had a training camp in Toronto for about 2, 3 weeks before going to Cairo. And before that, usually we would just train normally, pull up to the competition and do our thing. But now we really try to establish something a little more professional. So I
Hmm.
had no work, nothing else to distract me but fencing, and it helped. At the Olympics, we did the same thing, and now we're trying to establish that as the way to go.
Hmm. And then you had a good result. It was the Pan American Games. Was this before? When was this?
That was
2023? Santiago.
probably yeah. It's usually the year before the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished third, and we won against the US in the team event.
Hmm. So we're
It was
we're
the first
starting
time
to see.
Canada, first time Canada meets the US in about 20 years.
So we're starting to see the potential at this point.
Yeah. Then the confidence was peaking. We're in a good position. I mean, the US was in good position to be top four, which means we're in a good position to qualify. And even individually, I was feeling good. My preparations were good. I was confident when I got on the strip. And yeah,
So
it was
then
looking
we've
good.
we've we flash forward to Paris itself. What kind of preparation did you do in the months, the weeks leading up to the games?
So we had Pan American Championships about a month before.
Hmm.
The week before those Pan American Championships, I stopped working completely and focused on training. Then we got to the Pan American Championships, we did the competition. Uh, After that, we went back to Montreal for like a week, and it was fully rest because I picked up a little nagging injury, but it was full rest for a week. Then we went to France for 3 weeks. First in Tours because we have good relationship with the club there. They welcomed us, allowed us to use their gym so we could start a preparation with footwork, technical work. In my case, rehab. Then we went to Orléans for another week and a half just to get some bouts in, high level bouts, good practice. And after that, Paris was upon us.
At what point did it sink in when you were, at the Olympics? At what point did it sink in that, you had made it, that this is the peak of fencing? Was there like I don't know, I can't imagine how it feels.
Yeah. There's a few moments where I was sitting down and be like, yeah, yeah, here I am. But I think really is when the first night in the village, when we get to the village, when you get to the village, it's like, it's okay. It's a sport village.
Hmm.
But then when you go to bed, you have all your gear, you're in the room. There's a little Paris Olympic blanket, and you try to go to sleep. You can't really sleep, and that's when you realize, okay, I made it. What do I do from now?
And in the nights before, you didn't know exactly who you were going to fence, right? It's randomized.
It's
So,
yeah, it's between two people, right?
hmm.
So I knew it was either Szilagyi or Heathcock,
Hmm.
and preparation was based on both of them. And I
Hmm.
think it was 2 days before that they revealed. Men's Sabre, we always get the short end of the stick. We have the least amount of time to prepare, but uh, I was confident for both opponents and turned out pretty well.
So, when you say you prepare for both opponents, what kind of preparation do you mean? Do you mean watching video with your coach or?
Yeah, so watching videos and preparing a tactic, like a game
Mhm.
plan for both of them, and how to establish my dominance on the strip.
And what does that look like? What does a game plan look like?
So it would be, I would say, first you base off what you see on the video, what kind of actions they enjoy, what kind of actions they like to do, when they're stressed or pressured, how do they react, where do they make mistakes, where do they get a little hesitant,
Hmm.
and you try, okay, how do I bring that into my game? How do I put them into this position, and how do I take advantage of it?
See, I speak to some fencers, and some fencers are like, um, they don't seem to like this kind of preparation. They think, okay, I'll just focus on my game, um, and then everything else will follow.
I mean,
Do you?
it's the normal thing to do on like a normal competition
Hmm.
because you don't really know who your opponent is
Hmm.
before, right?
So that's quite a
Uh,
particular situation.
exactly. It's a little different. So you can, let's say in a normal competition, of course, you want to focus on yourself first. You're gonna know a little bit about your opponent. You're gonna know how to work him, but you have to focus on your own self and your own strength. When you know who it is, you can cheat that a little bit
Hmm.
because you can put them into uncomfortable position more than just use your strength to make points. So you do a little bit of both, and when it works great.
Yeah. And when you saw you saw the tableau, you saw that it was Szilagyi, not Heathcock. What was the thought? Were you equally prepared for either, or was there at least some bit of doubt that okay, this is going to be tough?
I mean, it's a combat sport. There's
Hmm.
no place for doubt here. But I mean, I was confident for both. Maybe when I got Zilagi, I felt like I'm gonna be a little less tired because he likes to play with his hands more than his legs, contrary to Heathcock, who's just gonna run around everywhere.
Yeah.
So I was okay with I'll have more energy for the second match, but they're both very dangerous and very strong. And honestly, I was feeling confident and ready for both. I knew it
Mhm.
was two tough matches regardless of who I get, but I was prepared and ready to roll.
Because I remember particularly for Tokyo, watching people who fought Szilagyi, and there just seemed to be this fear, like they seem to come onto the piece like they'd already lost. Like there's
It
just
is
something about him
intimidating.
at the Olympics. It must be, I don't know how you get over this. Yeah, you say you
I mean,
work with a psychologist?
yeah, sports psychologist, and the way we work together is to really try to keep the focus on myself. So, like what you said, with the other fencers who like to focus on their actions. From a fencing point of view, I agree, and but I do like to prepare for my opponent. On a psychological point of view, I like to just focus on me and what I like mentally where I am, and I don't really look at. I try not to look at names or anything, but of course, when you get against someone like Zilagi at the Olympics, it's basically you walking into his house and
Exactly. Yeah.
you try to take his bread from the table. So it's not. It's always going to be easy. It's always going to be hard, uh, and it is intimidating. But you have to. It's part of the game, and it's part of the sport.
And then you find yourself 8-6 up of a break. Is it? I think you're
Uh, oh no! I think it was
or
8-4 maybe.
8-4 maybe. Okay, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that's right. How, because obviously, you go into a match, you expect to win. You have this, you're a fighter. Obviously, you never go into a match expecting to lose. But still, when you find yourself
Right.
8-4 up, comfortably up at the break there, what goes through your head?
Honestly, I was so focused. There was nothing but what's next going through my head.
Hmm.
I knew the score. I knew I was up by a comfortable margin. Comfortable in Sabre 8-4 is not that comfortable,
Yeah.
but in the situation, I was comfortable with it. And I knew that I had to protect it, so no stupid risks. But also I couldn't become complacent and just, rest on it. I had to keep the pressure on him to make him take the risks instead of me. It's I had to flip it usually because when we started, I had to take the risk because
Hmm.
I'm the underdog. But now I'm on top. I have to keep the pressure on him, make him make mistakes.
Because it's so common with these top fencers. They go down, 8-4, 8-5 in the first half, but then win the match, 15-6, in the second half. So,
Where you can't leave them
mhm, yeah.
any little leeway or anything. You gotta keep the pressure on.
But then throughout the second half, especially, you can start see you start seeing him to get frustrated. You start to see him lift off his mask, and surely that must feel quite special. No, did you feed off that energy, off that frustration, or were
Hell
you
yeah.
just totally in your zone?
Oh no. I was in my zone, but I mean, it's you see the opponent being frustrated. He's a little lost. He doesn't know what to do, and whether you like it or not, it boosts the confidence. So you feel even better about yourself
Mhm.
because like, you know what, everything I'm doing works, and he doesn't know what to do, so I can just let him try to guess what to do, and I'm even more comfortable because if someone's lost, what do they do? They'll take a risk. They'll try something different and something they might not be comfortable with, and that means there's more chances for me to score off of that.
But I think what's interesting, I think what shows how in the zone you were is on the final touch, where you take him to the end of the piece, right? You take him all the way
Yeah.
to the end of the piece, you land your attack, and then it's like you don't realize you've landed your attack. You step back, you're ready for him to come at you, and
I
then you
was,
see the light,
I
and then it's like okay, but
no, I had no idea. I was landing, and I didn't bother where the street was because I felt the distance. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm jumping now." Sorry, can I say that? Yeah, it did that part. So I do my flange. I hit uh, apparently, but I didn't realize. I landed. I was there. I looked at him. He looked, and I was all right. Where are you gonna go now? What do I do now? All right, let's go back and defend. And I hear a bunch of people screaming. I look at the referee. There's a hand up, and then I see the light and the score, and jubilation starts. I'm ready. Celebration starts.
but then that's not the end. That's the crazy thing. It must be hard emotionally, That's the first match of a competition, and then it must have a similar feeling to winning a final, you know.
Yeah, when you're up against someone like that and his pedigree, yeah,
But
it
then you
feels
have
good.
to, fence again. How did you manage that time between this first match and then your next match against Api team?
So luckily, I had a little bit of time.
Hmm.
We had uh, before the first and since there's a few bouts they have to go through, and then the women's épée. Between the first and second match, we had, or I guess it's the second and third since there were 64s.
Hmm.
There was a little time, like an hour and a half, so I had time to go back celebrate because I'm allowed to
Yeah,
celebrate too. Go with my teammates a little bit, get a coffee, a banana, and then once I was done with this, I just started uh, watching videos of APT just to put myself in the mindset for the next match. Go with the coach, prepare a game plan for that match, and just move on from the victory. I'll finish celebrating later,
hmm.
and I celebrated enough in the moment. Now I'm ready to like get ready for the next match, prepare, and try to go for it.
And you had fenced Apeti not long before in the same season. He beat you 15-8 in
Oh,
Seoul, I think, right?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, he beat me pretty good there.
how much did you learn from that match?
Honestly, I rewatched the match
Hmm.
and I could see where I made the mistakes. From the outside, it's always different than from the inside.
Hmm.
And I could see where I made the mistakes and where he would capitalize on. And that helped me with preparing a game plan, like I mentioned, on how to proceed, what to do, and how not to make. Because now I had how can I say? I had like a blueprint of
Hmm.
how he beat me, and I can use this, like, because I don't have to change everything I do. I just have to tweak things a little bit so that he's not as comfortable as he was when he beat me in Seoul.
Let's get a bit more technical. Can you tell me a bit more your secret sauce in how you won this match against Apiti? What was your game plan? Was it more how specific can you be? Like, do you have an idea of how
So,
you're going to prepare or?
a good magician never gives all his tricks, but no, no, no. So, the way I approach it, and he's retired now, so it's okay. And the way I approached it is because he's very, very patient,
Hmm.
and he uses that. So it's either you go very fast at him and make him move off the line. I'm not that comfortable with that,
Hmm.
so I don't like going super fast off the line. especially
So
with
by
like the
going
step
fast,
lunge.
you force him to step back, right? Is that the idea?
Exactly.
Okay.
You force him to respect a little bit more
Hmm.
the straight attack,
Hmm.
which is not something I personally enjoy doing.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, fencing, you got to enjoy it or not. If you don't enjoy it, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah.
And so the way I devised my plan is I'll go with him, patient. So I'll wait, and I'll let him make a decision. I'll put myself in a distance where I'm relatively safe in the sense where I could prep or make fall short, and I'll let him choose. And if he chooses not to move, not to and wait more, then I'll just keep creeping forward, but very small. Like you can't get in because if you get in distance with him, he's gonna attack on preparation,
Hmm.
and they give it to him all day. If he lunges, it's his prep. So I knew it, and I just assumed if I'm going very slow, he's gonna be scared or like hesitate on the prep, and that I can continue my attack, and that's how I put pressure on him. Which means once he realized it wasn't working, he couldn't prep me because I was waiting, push him back. He started accelerating a little bit, which then I started making him fall short. And once we go that, I'm more comfortable because my game is making people fall short. And yeah, and I had a few good touches in defense as well. So I think that stumped a little bit his eagerness to really rush me or anything.
So
And
it's an interesting,
the
yeah,
crowd
yeah,
wasn't
the
with him.
crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that must be crazy, the noise.
no. But it was again fed on it because
Hmm. Hmm.
they were happy with him. But at one point, they didn't have that much to cheer on.
It's nice to be
So
the
I could
villain
see,
sometimes, right? To
oh, feed on the despair. No. I mean, it's a good crowd. Like they're not antagonizing anyone or
Mhm.
anything. They're trying to cheer for their country, but I mean, it's sport is sport, life is life. It is what it is.
Yeah. So you won that match pretty comfortably in the end. This time, well, same score as he beat you, so 15-8. So you got your revenge on the big stage. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
then you go into a match against Oh Sanguk. What are you thinking going into this match?
Well, we had less time to prepare for that one.
Hmm.
They made us move pretty fast. I think in 45 minutes I was back on the strip.
Yeah.
But I've always had a like pretty comfortable. I was always comfortable fencing O
Hmm.
because he likes to move. I like to move, and I'm confident in my legs, even though he's very fast and very long. I'm confident I can outwork him on the legs. The problem is he doesn't really make mistakes. So if I make one or two mistakes, that's 1 or 2 points for him, and I have to work even harder to get them back. And I lost pretty close match, which honestly I rewatched it and there's one or two actions I regret attempting, but
Hmm.
hey, it's part of the game. Gotta try different things to get them.
It must be frustrating, rewatching this match. You lost 15-13.
Yeah.
It must be. How did it feel knowing you were 2 points away from an Olympic finals piece?
Yeah. It's very it's it's a little bitter. It's I'm a little bitter about it, but I'm satisfied with what I did at the
Hmm.
competition, but I know I could have gone a little farther than that.
So then the individual event, so obviously that was overall a pretty good success. Then we have the team event, which is a bit more complicated because overall Canada you finished what eight out of eight, so you finished at the bottom. But your individual performance, I checked the stats today. You had the joint third best indicator from everyone who competed the whole day. So LCC had plus 21, Seb Patrice plus 19, and you and Pietro Torre both had plus 12. So you must have had a good day as an individual in the team, right?
Yeah, I carried on in the team what I did in the individuals. So I was still confident. Didn't matter who's in front of me, I'll beat them. And yeah, I mean, I did it. We did what we could, but
Hmm.
we were missing a little bit of maybe a little bit of more fight, and we could have gotten a better result. And
But well,
it doesn't help we started with the Korea first match.
no, no. And then fencing afterwards, after you lose the first match, there's no longer any medal hope, and there's not even any ranking repercussions. It's not like, you have to do well to qualify for the next Olympics. It's kind of in some ways meaningless, right?
Yeah, but we're competitors, right?
But
No one likes
yeah,
to lose.
yeah.
We try
So,
to we try to keep going. Even like we had every match afterward. It was Egypt and the US. They were both very close matches,
mhm,
and it's disappointing we didn't make it, but we kept showing that we deserve our place there. And,
mhm.
we're not just a one-off team.
No, I mean, you personally, you had a almost you could call it a bronze medal in individual in team event. It's in terms of individual performance.
No, you win as a team, you lose as a team.
Exactly.
How
Yeah.
we see it. Yeah.
So you've mentioned you have a job, right? You're working as well. Is this right? What do you
Yeah,
do outside of fencing?
I work for a bank. Nothing particularly interesting.
And how do you balance this work with with a serious fencing career?
So when we are in season, I usually go to the gym in the morning, then I go to work around 9, and after work, I go to the fencing training. So it's long days,
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
long days, and I'm lucky they accommodate me. So whenever I leave for sport, they don't take it as a vacation.
Okay.
So I can just leave and come back to work, obviously. But I have my vacation days. Let's say I need a break or something, I can just take them, enjoy my time. So I'm
Do you,
lucky. I'm pretty lucky with my situation.
do you feel at all jealous of the fencers who are able to train full time, who have nice government support and
I mean, jealous. If we go in a pure sense of in pure competitive sense, I envy it a little bit, yeah, because I would love to have the same conditions and uh, not have to worry about anything other than fencing to prepare for the competitions. But I'm also happy with the way like I'm doing my thing because this is how we do it here.
hmm.
And so far I've been doing it pretty good. Now gotta find a way to tweak a little bit so that I'm more consistent on the results. But I also self myself so that once I'm done fencing, I have a career afterwards. So I
Hmm.
don't have to worry too much about, okay, what do I do? How do I do it? I'm pretty comfortable in that sense.
I think it's a good example for people who want to have both a career and both fencing. It's you show that
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
it's possible, right?
it takes sacrifice,
Hmm.
but it sometimes I mean, here we don't really have a choice. We have to do it this way.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I got used to it because I've always been doing school and sport. So that when I moved to sport and work, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's also, I have more time to let's say train in the evening because I don't have like studies or work to do for school. Once I'm done with work, I don't think about work anymore. Well,
Hmm.
I try not to, but I do what I can.
And how old are you? You are 30 something, 30,
30,
30, bang on. Okay.
30. Let's
Okay.
stop there. Hold it up.
So it's been a long journey for you, right? It's
Yeah, yeah, it takes
it's because plenty of people they retire before they even get to 30. So what advice would you give to people who might have to take longer throughout their careers to reach an Olympics to reach the last eight of the Olympics even?
I'd say there's a saying it says good things take time,
Hmm.
and it's very true in the combat sports, especially in sports like fencing, where it's more cerebral than physical.
Hmm.
So you want to, there's always going to be the odd one out who takes flight super early. It's Szilagyi, who at 16, 17, everyone knew he was going to be good, or O that came in and was good. But for the most people, it takes time. Like you find your maturity, you find your fencing, if you can say, and not everyone's gonna find it at the same time. And it's a sport where people mature a little bit later, so it's gonna take a little bit of time. And if you don't train twice a day, then it's gonna take even more time. But eventually, I mean, if you have the talent, eventually it's gonna come. You're gonna get it. And yeah, just it's a question of keeping the motivation and setting realistic goals to
Hmm.
achieve.
And speaking of goals, what's next? Are you looking forward to LA? Is 2028, is this on the radar still, or are you not even thinking about
Still a
that
little,
yet?
it's still a little far. I'm gonna
Hmm.
think about
Hmm.
getting back in shape for Orléans,
Okay.
and after that we'll take it. I mean, the first year it's gonna be probing a little bit, see how I
Hmm.
feel, how my legs feel, and after that we start thinking. But after 2 years is when I will make a decision if I carry on all the way
It,
to LA or not. But for now, the taste I had in Paris made me wanna go to LA,
that's the
and
thing. I feel
trying to
like
get.
after these kind of results, people either go one way or either they want to end their career on a high, or it's like, no, I'm never gonna stop now.
I know I can't. If I had made a medal, maybe I would have ended it. But so close yet so far, made me want to keep going. Yeah,
So you're still going for now, and then it's normal into for the post Olympics season is normally a bit more quiet. Everyone's not quite sure what they're doing, so um
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's everyone is in the same situation. The
Hmm.
only ones that are really going super hard are the juniors that are coming in.
Who make the most of it being slightly easier and steal the ranking points and
Yeah. I mean, it's never easy now, but
no, it's crazy how hard it is these days. But
yeah, it's not the same as it was.
so I have one last bonus question, um, but you don't have to answer this one if you don't want to. I understand why you want to. I want to ask you, who is the toughest opponent you've ever fenced in your career? Is there a particular person who you hate to fence? Now, I understand if you don't answer because you're still fencing, but
Yeah.
I
What
feel
if he
like
knows?
exactly you don't want to give an advantage to your enemy. But let's say someone who's retired.
Oh, if someone was retired, always had problems. That's it. It's a good question. Very good question. It's a little shout out. It's an old teammate of mine,
Hmm.
Polosifakis.
Yeah, Joseph. Yeah.
So hard to fence. I could never figure it out. With his lefty, very fast with the hand
Hmm.
and with the legs. And yeah, I mean, I had problems fencing him, especially when I was younger.
Hmm.
I think I should be fine now, but back in the days, it was hard.
Especially, I'm guessing it's someone you fence with a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
started training with the national team when I was 15,
Okay.
and he was on the national team at the time. So I was always the little kid training with the big guys and getting beaten on every practice.
And it's often like that when you fence with the same people over and over again, there's kind of this psychological thing where you all
Yeah,
fence
it's like
differently and
let's say I'm in training with Gordon,
hmm.
who I've been fencing with for 15 years.
Hmm.
It's not even fun anymore, and there's no tactique or skills
Yeah.
involved. It's just I know what he's gonna do. He knows what I'm gonna do. I just have to outguess him. It's
I guess that's why
it,
it's important for especially important for people like you to do the camps to fence over different people.
right, right, right. It's important to, especially because to be good at sports like fencing, you need experience.
Hmm.
So you need to be put in situations you're not used to it, or in different uh, situations, especially against people uh, that are even better than you or same level as you. So if you always fence against, let's say, juniors or something, that's how you get complacent and too comfortable with where you are. So I try to go to, let's say, Europe, train a little bit before
Hmm.
big competitions, or even if I have time to go to New York, train a little bit there with the US guys. It helps a lot.
Hmm. Okay, I don't want to keep you for much longer. It's been amazing. Unless there's anything else you want to say, any crazy stories to recount,
No,
or
can't put them out in
uh,
public.
exactly. Um, but yeah, thank you very much.